living Northwest wild. Hunting, fishing is my kind of style. I float the Wainuchi when it gets hot. I'm proud of all the things that I've got. I'm digging them moss bags up in the sand, and after work a cold beer in my hand, picking wild berries off God's land, and drinking my buddy's homemade wine. Living Northwest wild. Hunting, fishing is my kind of style. I float the Wainuchi when it gets hot. I'm proud of all the things that I've got. I'm digging them moss bags up in the sand, and after work a cold beer in my hand, picking wild berries off God's land, and drinking my buddy's homemade wine. In the Northwest wild.
All right, we are live. We may have some issues over here in IT corner, but we're going to get it resolved. We may not be up on Facebook right now, but I guess we'll find out. Hey, welcome, Fish on Northwest, Wayne England. Dave Calhoun back in studio.
It's like I never left.
Actually, you didn't leave.
It's like
He's been here for an entire week.
And just
yes,
didn't move.
yeah. And you were rewarded with an amazing dinner tonight with some triploid from the east side.
Delicious.
You got a little bit left on the face there, that oil.
Oh, yeah.
It goes nicely in the goatee or the beard.
This is from the sun. It made an appearance today. It was
Yes.
the craziest thing.
Crazy stuff. You were on the water today fishing.
I was, and it was beautiful.
We're going to get into that a little bit later,
Yeah.
in between the rain squalls.
Yeah.
So, Dave, looks like we're up on all three, huh? I'm going to say yes. Is that a good to go? He's
up.
looking.
Yeah.
So, all right. Hopefully, you're joining us Facebook, YouTube, and/or on Twitch. Trying to build our following over there on Twitch. Believe it or not.
Twitch?
Yeah.
It's new for me.
Well, it's more so of a gaming outlet, but this is much of a game each and every week. It's a gamble whether or not we're going to come up and actually work. So, hey, welcome Fish on Northwest. We are live here Thursday evening, 6 p.m. So we are bringing it to you live from the studio here. As I mentioned, Dwayne England, Dave Calhoun in studio, co-host duties this evening in place of Mr. Tommy Donlin, who's on assignment. So glad to see folks chiming in. Looks like we're broadcasting just fine. Had a little hiccup. We got through it. Got Dave back behind the seat this evening, training the beard. Lots of good activity going on over in that corner. We'll continue to work our way through it. So with that, Dave, we got a lot of stuff going on, but before we get too far along, I want to remind everybody that Fish on Northwest is presented by Better Homes and Gardens Pacific Commons Real Estate, located in Puyallup, Washington. Joe Maxwell and team doing their best to keep up with all the demand that's currently going on. If you're trying to buy or sell right now, man, it's
crazy.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And of course, we are in the midst of purchasing an additional property here, which is going to be great once the new boat arrives and, big shop, storage, going to move some of the stuff out of here off of this property. We got some good stuff going on, and it's all getting done because of Joe Maxwell and his team there, Better Homes and Gardens Pacific Commons. If you got real estate needs, give those guys a call. They're top notch. Also want to remind you all, spoke of the boat here a second ago. Almost done. Getting the last few Ray Marine components attached to that bad boy. 21-foot Mustang hardtop rolling out of the showroom here hopefully this next week. Going to bring it finally home. Excited to get my hands on that boat. Got a lot of good things to look forward to. Defiance Marine, located in Bremerton, manufacturers of the Defiance series, Arima, and of course the Allied, of which is the aluminum boat I'm getting. Yes, got these large planer boards.
And I know the guy who makes these, so if you're interested in contact me at Northwest Rods.
Yeah. This has been a project. We're going to get those bad boys up and going too off of this new boat. Can't wait to bring you content. A lot of folks asking about the planer board presentation. Does it work? How do you do it? The whole deal. I built some planer boards previously, and I've ran some of the offshore versions too, the smaller size, 8-inch, 12-inch. Finally decided to up my game for rougher water, rougher conditions, higher wind, more chop, the ability to stay on the troll, keep your presentation going. And how it all works, it's a lot harder to explain than it is to demonstrate. We will be on the water plenty this spring and summer. Going to bring you, it's an option. It's not an everyday go-to, but it's an option. If you set your boat up and can utilize the planer boards, that is what we intend on doing. We're going to get it dialed in on this boat as we did on our previous boat and bring you some really good content that involves deployment, retrieval, how to use them, when, and how it benefits you.
And I've used these out on Merwin. My buddy Tim, who's my Kokanee pro, helped me with my rods. He's got these setups, and he showed me how to do it, and it's awesome.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, it makes it to where we can run 6 or 8 rods, where usually we were struggling to do 4 or 6 with the downriggers, and it makes
covers
it so
more ground, widen your swath. I mean, there's a lot of positives to it. We're going to bring you all that content in the near months to come. Stay tuned for that. Again, a lot of folks asking questions. I simply got online and found plans to build them. And I got a few tweaks I still want to do. I may change the front cut on it a little bit based on some reading I've been doing lately. But that's the beauty of taking on projects on your own and building stuff and tweaking it and getting it to work. You find it. And once you land there, man, you're good to go. So we'll continue to bring that stuff. I know there's guys on the east side that are running these things and been over there doing that as well. And we'll continue to do so. So looking forward to it. So looking forward to that boat. Hey, if you have needs, get out there to Defiance Marine. We're coming up on the front door of spring here, Dave. Spring, I believe, actually kicks off March 20th, if I remember right. Don't wait too long to get that boat ready to go. Openers are happening. We're gonna have a great discussion tonight. Sekiu opener for Blackmouth is right around the corner here, March 1st. If your boat's not ready to go, man, you're way behind. So if you got needs, you got things you need to get worked on in the service center, you have components you need to purchase, you have a need for a new boat, of all things, get out there to Defiance, talk to those folks, get your needs taken care of, whether it's in the shop or on the showroom floor. They'll handle it for you. Great folks. Also want to remind you, Phoenix Protective Corp is on board as a contributing sponsor. We're glad to have them on board. If you are retired or previous experienced military and/or police, Phoenix Protective Corp wants to talk to you. They're hiring. Outstanding business. JC and crew, they are just phenomenal people. Top notch. You talk about security force for everyday, security at your business. What they offer on the West Coast here is second to none, and a great company to work for. We're happy to have them on board, and we will continue to promote them because they are great folks to align ourselves with. So with that, want to remind you, also stop by our webpage. Man, it's been getting a lot of activity the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to make it a point, once I get caught up on a few things around here, got to get back to writing blogs, got to get out on the water, in the woods, doing things. Tommy and I, we got to start kicking out more fresh blogs for you guys. I get it, and we will. It's all just demanding, lots of time demands, but we'll get new content up and going. There's a lot of content on there currently that we've loaded up, previous recipes, recipe blogs, how-tos, DIYs, a lot of content there. I want you guys to go to fishuntnw.com, www.fishuntnw.com. Again, lots of activity there as of late. Check out our blogs. Check out our online store. We got a whole new host of items coming. The Beard and Blake were in the print shop today kicking out our new logos, our new brands. It's all coming to you here shortly. We're going to get it loaded up on the old website and the online store, and it's all available for purchase. And if you got questions, hit us up on Facebook Messenger, hit us up via email, whatever works best for you, but we're here to answer your questions. So with that, Mr. Calhoun, lots going on around the Pacific Northwest and beyond. I'm not sure if you're aware, Spring Bear is soon to open.
That's one thing I've never done.
I have not either.
I've never shot a bear.
A beard?
No, I would.
Got him in the sights in the corner.
Yeah, that's easy pickings. No, I've never done it. If I had one in my field or something and trying to get near my house or whatever, then one's going to go down. I've never done it, but it's interesting to follow the guys that do.
Modern rifle, muzzleloader, bow, choose your weapon. First and foremost, though, you need to get your application in. 650 permits this year. Applications are available now through February 28th, which is 3 days from now. So the window is closing. Not sure if they're completely sold out. Typically, they are not. Be aware, though, as the application goes in, and for right up front, it's going to cost you $7.10 as a Washington State resident to submit your application for your bear permit. So you got to submit, and then hopefully you get drawn. They'll give out 650 permits. So submit your application, $7.10. That's the first part. $3.80 for a youth. It's nothing, right? then you'll get notified whether or not you get it. Now, things to keep in mind relative to spring bear hunting. One, 50% success rate in a couple of the units. It's pretty successful. I mean, you can't attribute a 50% rate to a lot of our hunts that we do. 50% is up there. So you got that going for you. If you are have access to one of those units that has a decent bear population, and most of them do, we have between 35 and 40,000 black bear in the state of Washington, I do believe. So get your application and get your permit drawn and go get them. One thing to keep in mind, though, as Tommy and I alluded to the last several months, we do have some litigation that is happening. Be aware that the spring bear rule that governs the hunt is currently being challenged through litigation. Couple sisters out on the coast and up north. Anyway, if future court decisions result in a season closure or delay, WDFW will notify hunters accordingly. So, not sure what they're going to do with the $7.10 you submit for your application. May hold on to it for the following year. It's just it's a rule regulation write-up. Somebody's challenging it. A couple sisters that felt obligated to challenge the language that was applied to 2020. WDFW just opted to forward it to 2021, assuming that it's same language, we're doing the same exact thing, same season, same structure. Let's just roll it forward and save all the time it takes to go through the process. Well, a couple ladies had an issue with that, so it's being tied up in litigation. So thank you, ladies. There you go, 650 available in that regard. Spring Chinook, talk about spring, and I believe I said March 20th. I think that's around the time frame. Lots of folks chiming in here, Dave. Folks saying hi. Michael Kane saying hello to you as well, Dave. Actually, people are shouting out to you more than I. So we're gonna switch seats.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. A lot of guys chiming in. Good to see you, Charlie Johnson.
I miss talking to everybody.
Jerry John,
really
yeah.
I miss being able to have that weekly, here's what's going on, and
right,
talk to people
right,
and do that. And I've tried to do some of the blogs, but I've been so overwhelmed with rod stuff that I just kind of don't get a chance to. So, and if you guys have questions for me, I'll try and answer whatever you've got. We've got a couple segments later, but
yes, yeah, we do.
Send them to me.
Get the rod questions coming in. Dave is here for the entire evening, and as he mentioned, Bill is checking in from Japan again. You're still not in quarantine, are you? For God's sakes, get on a plane and get home. We got Jeremy John checking in once again. Nice to see you always, Jeremy. And Bill Allen, hey, lots of folks chiming in.
Good.
Appreciate that. Area 5 Blackmouth, yes, talking about that tonight, Travis. We will actually, when we go to break, have that on for first segment with Tom Burlingame of XL Fishing Charter. So, getting back to spring Chinook numbers are in. Season looks, fairly decent. The biggest thing I think most folks are picking up on is we got a lower Columbia fishery that we haven't had the past 2 years, 2019, 2020. That lower below Cowlitz wasn't accessible. Keep in mind, maybe Dave will throw the photo up here. There is a Cowlitz bubble.
A bubble, yeah, much like the Warrior Rock bubble there at Lewis.
Yeah,
right, where basically you can't fish from a boat in the bubble. That's
correct.
What they're saying, and I think the idea was they think that's going to protect the Cowlitz fish that we may or may not have a chance at. Once they get their escapement for springers on the Cowlitz,
right? Then
maybe they will not only give us the springers on the Cowlitz, but maybe remove that bubble at least until the April 4th cutoff. We don't know what's going on.
And so time-wise, I look at it and say we're probably not going to have enough fish to the Cowlitz area by April 4th. No. So, the bubble's going to probably remain in place as you see it on your screen there. That is the demilitarized zone.
Yep.
No fishing from a floating device in that particular region or the channel. Other than that, you do have lower river access from that point all the way down to the mouth. You can fish springers, which is something we haven't seen in a couple years. So that's good. The numbers look favorable to a point. I mean, let's face it. You talk to some of the experts that build these seasons, they will tell you, well, we could actually, we could have an opener for springers mid-April for 5 days, and we would probably hit the quota.
Right.
But, they let us get the boats out on the water starting February. You can fish all the way to April 4th. they like you to go out there and burn gas for 8 weeks prior to the fish actually showing up, which is fine. Get your practice runs in, right? But the numbers don't look too bad. There's modeled just over 3,000 springers, about 500 more than last year. It's springer fishing. It's not going to be lights out. We do have access down there, fish around the Kalama and whatnot on that main stem Columbia, which is great. Depending on timing and what's going on, and I get the boat all squared away, hope to make a couple runs down there. Mm-hmm. But springer opportunity is just around the corner. It's happening now for a handful of people, but you got to do the best you can do, and we do have up to that April 4th. They'll gauge how the season is performing. They'll do dam counts. They'll monitor the amount of fish being taken off the river with creel checks and all that. Depending, if the run is a little late and they haven't hit the numbers, we get those extensions, right? What that looks like, well, we'll talk about that next week. FHN is being overtaken by the Bills next week.
I heard that.
Huh?
Yeah, that'll be a good time.
And I'm not talking the New York. I'm talking the Bills, the most important Bills. Bill Herzog, Bill Monroe Jr. in studio for the first time, both of those two guys together. It's going to be a great show. We are drilling it down, man. We're diving in deep on the whole Springer deal. Bill is at the desk, man. That guy knows what's going on when it comes to Springer fishing on the Columbia.
I see him out there every day when I'm out there, whether I'm in the Willamette or the Columbia.
Correct.
Because this really becomes the problem when they close the Columbia.
Yeah.
Where do you go?
Right.
So all the Oregon guys go up into the Willamette.
Yep.
All the Washington guys hit the tributaries. If we don't have the Cowlitz and we don't have the Lewis open for springers, then that puts too much pressure on rivers like the Kalama,
sure,
which won't support 50 guide boats,
no,
right? Even if the fish were there to support, there's not enough spots. There's not enough land.
Right.
Right? So then that overwhelms that system, and that's going to be the next one to go with that kind of pressure. So
yep,
it really... It just limits what we can do.
Well, the thing about Bill, too, he's so good about explaining because he's involved in the meetings when it comes to setting season. And he understands all the numbers and how they can flex that and move it around and gauge how the over dam numbers are performing, how the in-river monitoring is going, the actual numbers the recreational force is taken out of the river. You put all that together and it gives you numbers, and you either shut down the season or extend it. You have a weekend opener here and there. Bill's involved in all that. Yeah. So next week when he's in here, we're going to break all that down, truly understand how it's monitored, how it's gauged, how it should be performing. And that, of course, we'll get into some how-tos in the bait lab with him, rigging up for success on the Columbia and, of course, the Willamette River. So lots to cover next week relative to springers. Can't wait to get Monroe Jr. in here. It's going to be a great show. And that other crazy guy, Herzog, he may have a thing or two to say in regards to that. Hey, I don't know if you heard, Dave, or not, or if you had your booth ready to go. Puyallup Sportsman Show is unfortunately canceled.
Yeah, which we kind of knew that was going to happen.
Kind of felt like that was coming. Pierce County will not get out of stage 2, so they're going to maintain that level for the unforeseeable future. So Puyallup Show is not happening. That because really it would have limited them to a capacity of 200 persons on the grounds at any given time. How do you even make that work?
And then having to shut it down and wipe everything and let the next crew in, and it was just, it wasn't logistically possible. And let me say first off, we have friends that are with the trade shows. We get to see all our friends at the trade shows. So there's no good news that comes out of any of this.
No.
It hurts them, it hurts the industry. It just sucks all the way around.
Yeah,
right?
Puyallup Show is canceled, but depending on how things go and the commercials are happening, the hoopla is happening, and guys are getting excited, and I get it, and let's hope it goes through. And for those that want to attend, it's there. Portland, Sportsman Show and Boat Show.
Yep.
March 24th through the 28th at the Expo Center in Portland, where it's always at. Way late in March. We'll see. That's a month from now.
I know.
That's exactly a month from now. We'll see if they can pull it off. Hopefully they can. For the O'Laughlin Group and everybody involved.
We're all rooting for them.
Let's hope it's successful and people can go down and get entertained and buy some stuff and have a good time. We'll see. Puyallup not happening. Going to have to wait till next year, unfortunately, for that. And before we jump out for a quick break, happening right now, started at 6 p.m. Believe it or not, the first season numbers are getting put out there. They've been kind of drifting out there via emails and correspondence and whatnot. Tomorrow is the official kickoff of North of Falcon, NOF 2021, with the state's presentation via Zoom and online meetings, 0900, 9 o'clock till 3 p.m. You'll have a complete coverage if you choose to turn it on while you're at work or whatever. For all those that have never been able to attend, there's your opportunity to turn it on in the background in your cubicle at work and just kind of, put your earbud in and listen to what's going on. But season setting numbers are coming out. So the preseason forecast day for all of Washington State happens tomorrow. That being said, this evening they're actually meeting in Montesano, Region 6. They always kick off their season setting first installment meeting of preseason forecast numbers for Grays Harbor and Willapa, which is happening this evening. So we have some of those numbers. We'll be covering those later in the show. But we do have some glimmers of hope. We do have some really good things to look forward to. We have some other areas that will continue to struggle. Again, this is the first installment of meetings tonight and tomorrow. Season setting process in that they unveil all the numbers, and then we get to kind of dice that up over the next couple months and see what we're hopefully going to end up with down the road. So that is what's going on around the Pacific Northwest and beyond. We do have more info to delve into later on in the show, Dave. We'll be talking a little more in depth on Columbia River Springer opportunities, Willamette River, kind of dial you in on a few options of presentation, location, and things to do. And we got some more numbers that we can really dial in here in some of these fisheries that are going to be unfolded over the next couple days. Okay, we're going to jump out for a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have Tom Burlingame, XL Fishing Charters, Blackmouth out of Sekiu. Kicks off here March 1st. Get back on the saltwater, get to start chasing some salmon. A lot of folks looking forward to this because everything else has been closed down for quite some time. Ever since we closed our Area 10 a little early, we haven't had anything else going on in the saltwater. So that being said, jump out for a quick break. We'll get Tom on the phone, and don't go anywhere. Quick 1 minute or so out, come back in. We're going to get Tom on the phone, talking at Blackmouth, Sekiu. Season kicks off March 1st. Be right back here on Fish on Northwest.
Defiance Marine is the one-stop shop for the Pacific Northwest angler. Whether you are looking for a small skiff to fish the sound or rivers or a huge offshore tuna machine, Defiance Marine has it. At Defiance Marine, be sure to power your boat with a Honda outboard package. Take advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty on your Honda outboards. Our service department is always here to help and serve you as the customer. Did you know Defiance Marine has boat financing experts to help get you the best term rates on your new boat purchase? If you need financing for that new boat, call us today. We guarantee the best price, best service on a repower for your current boat. Defiance Marine is a Honda Premier dealership and one of the largest on the West Coast. Defiance Marine also carries all the gear that you will need. Everything from auxiliary kicker motors to fishing tackle and bait. Defiance Marine has certified technicians that are top-notch at their job. Some of the best in the Pacific Northwest at evaluating your boat issues and problems. Stop in today or give us a call for all your needs at Defiance Marine.
Today, the need for quality private security services is at an all-time high. Contract Security Service provides day-to-day peace of mind as they protect people and property. Here at Phoenix, we provide service for multiple state and federal contracts with services ranging from uniform, patrol, alarm monitoring, canine detection, executive protection, as well as investigative work. Phoenix client management models are built on understanding our clients' security needs and responding with a tailored program that is best fit for them. Phoenix provides excellent customer service through well-trained, highly motivated security professionals. Recruiting highly qualified officers is the first step in building a strong team. Currently, we are comprised of 70% prior law enforcement and military veterans. If you are prior military or law enforcement, go to www.phoenixprotectivecorps.com and apply today.
Hey, welcome back, Fish on Northwest. Wayne England, Dave Calhoun in studio. You ever go out blackmouth fishing?
I used to when I fished in the salt, and even though it may not be far out, I'm done with the salt.
Are you really?
I have no problem saying it's not for me.
Done with the salt.
Yep.
Well, I am definitely not, and that new boat's going to be on the salt on a regular basis. So,
yep, send me pictures.
One gentleman who is not done with the salt, matter of fact, looking forward to getting back on the salt after he gets through all his North of Falcon meetings and processes. Tom Burlingame, XL Fishing Charters, out of Sekiu, and joining us this evening to talk about this up-and-coming opener. How you doing, Tom?
Good, Dwayne.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I know you're a busy guy getting ready for the opener, and as we were talking at the break, got these meetings coming up that we're finally kicking off, and that's going to be an interesting process. I'm very curious to see what happens via North of Falcon this year, and what kind of seasons we get. Are you anticipating some return of some of the things that we haven't been able to access in a couple of years, or do you think it's kind of going to be same old, same old?
We have some good news on Coho, especially the Columbia River Coho, and I hear that Chinook are most of the Chinook, especially the Tules, which makes up most of our ocean fishery. Those numbers are up a slight bit, so there may be some good news. We're certainly going to have some challenges. Some coastal river. Coho stocks are still in the bad range, and so we'll have to work to make sure we don't have too much impact on those. Yeah,
good point. Well, once you get through that, mister, you're going to be hitting the water and looking forward to your season opening up that Sekiu area. So I would anticipate a decent amount of boats, especially the first week perhaps, coming to visit your backyard. And, if nothing else, due to lack of opportunity elsewhere, obviously, openings do create a little bit of hysteria for folks to tell everybody, you get that mob mentality. For those not familiar, let's just kind of talk about this Sekiu Blackmouth opportunity. Is this more of an inside fishery, or are you out at the edge of the ocean really when you are targeting these blackmouth?
No, this is inside the strait.
Mm-hmm.
You can fish as far west as the Sekiu River. That's the line there. Beyond that is Area 4B, which is the Nia Bay area inside. So you have to stay east of the Sekiu River. So it's pretty much inside the strait, and so it can still be weather dependent, especially if it blows east. But like you say, this year I think will be a little different than most. We're expecting a big turnout. Normally on a busy weekend day at Sekiu, you might see 10 boats out there, and I think it'll be a lot different this year by the rates of the hotel bookings and things like that I've heard about.
Yeah, no surprise there, though, right? I mean, you give an opportunity or lack thereof, it's gonna create, like I mentioned, that mob mentality. So, let's talk a little bit about what folks need to kind of focus in on. So, kind of the depth of water predominantly we're targeting. You fishing around any type of bottom structure, and I think oftentimes folks might go a little too deep for these blackmouths. So let's kind of spool them up on depth of water and type of water they should be looking at, current flows and things when they're targeting blackmouth.
Right. The normal thing is to fish in 80 to 150 feet of water. These fish, especially up here in the strait, they tend to be feeding on cattlefish, which are right on the bottom. It doesn't mean, like you say, you can't catch them up off the bottom, but most of the time when you see me fishing, I've got at least two balls dragging the bottom, because that tends to be where the feed are this time of year, with them feeding predominantly on cattlefish.
Yeah, so when you say dragging the bottom, that varies for a handful of people I talk to when they're targeting blackmouth and pounding the deck. You literally let them drag in the mud, you bounce them down, bring them up a couple cranks. I mean, what's your standard go-to just to ensure you're not going to get hung up or start destroying gear?
Well, I don't let them bounce on the bottom all the time, but it is not unusual, like in a pass, for me to make a half-mile pass in some water and bounce 2, 3, 4 times in that half mile. I'm just a couple of cranks off the bottom. On at least 2 of my poles, I run the lines, and the back line I tend to fish a little shallower.
Yeah, makes sense. Let's talk presentation. Folks always want to know, Tom, when it comes to certain colors? Is it UVs? Is it glow because you're down there right off the bottom in the darkness? Is it bait? Is it an artificial presentation? What's kind of some of your go-to in presentation? Flasher size, color, and baits or artificials?
Yeah, I normally fish a 11-inch flasher, a standard flasher. I like a little glow on mine. I tend to like greens or red racers for a flasher. You want to fish a small presentation. So if you're using artificials, you're going to be fishing coho killers. You're going to be fishing small 2.5-inch spoons. The bait is really small. Those candlefish, when you cut them open, they're just really small. So small presentation seems to be very effective. I'm not much of a bait guy, but I know guys that do well fishing smaller sized bait also.
You put any type of scent, any gel scents, any scent on your artificials, or are you just running them naked?
I'm not a big scent guy, but especially in the salt. But blackmouth fishing is the only fishing I do all year. I fish the ocean all summer, and I never get the scent out. And blackmouth fishing, for some reason, I used to charter out of Everett and learned a lot from Gary Crine, and he always used a little scent, and I still use a little scent. I'll use a little like salmon hammer scent or herring scent. I don't know that it helps, but I do it.
What do you think is more productive out there, that Sekiu line, some of those lines that you're trolling down, incoming tide, outgoing tide, and typically what do you think your troll speed is over ground?
So I like to fish the outgoing tide the best. And one thing about Sekiu that you'll find is that when you look at the tide, this area will ebb long after low. The current still flows out sometimes an hour or two after low, depending on how big a tide you're fishing. So I like to fish the outgoing tide. That being said, these fish are really a tidal biter up here. It's a blackmouth will bite any time of the day, and here at Sekiu they seem to really have a time. You'll fish for 2 hours and maybe catch a few shakers, and then all of a sudden, in a half an hour, you'll catch 2, 3, 4 keepers when they go on the bite. And it seems like no matter where you are around the area, when those fish go on the bite, they're biting, and it seems like everybody will catch them.
Yeah.
For speed, trolling with the current, I like 2.5. 3 knots.
Yeah. Sounds about right. What kind of size of fish are we talking on these typical blackmouth there in the Sekiu area?
So just for those who don't know, it's a 2-fish limit, and it's hatchery only.
Yep. To
retain them, 22 inches, and you get a lot of fish, especially early in the season. That is 24, 25, 26-inch fish. Little later in the season, in April, you start to see a few more of those springers coming in.
Yeah.
And it's not unusual to get a fish in the low teens or middle teens, even daily. It's not an unusual fish. A little later in the season, when it first opens, you can expect to see those fish 24, 25 inches. Of course, you're going to get bigger ones than that, but you'll see a lot of them that size.
Yeah. Pretty much all trolling. We're not finding any shallow spots and jigging or tossing or throwing darts up and down or any of that type of activity. You're just basically on the troll, correct?
I am. Yeah. I find it a lot more productive. There is guys. I know one guy that's a local up here that does nothing but mooch, and he catches fish. But I think for your average guy that coming out to Sekiu, a lot better off trolling. You're going to have a lot more success.
Well, that's kicking off your season, Tom, and then you get very busy and roll on through. You got halibut and, of course, lingcod opportunities coming up here shortly in the near spring. And then how about that? You got a good anticipation of probable really good coho season coming at you.
Yeah, we're hoping for a good summer. We're hoping that maybe we'll be able to move back to Nia Bay.
Yeah,
we're hearing maybe the 1st of July. That's kind of what the last thing we've heard, but nothing's official yet. We're just hoping to be able to move back there.
Yeah, it'd be great to get that open back up, especially for you guys, and to kind of spread out the crowd a bit there. So, hey, really appreciate you taking time tonight, Tom. Have you got any openings coming up in the short future here? What's the best way for folks to track you down?
The best way is to give me a call. You can check out my website at xlfishingcharters.com, and you can call me. Our number is 360-374-2225.
Perfect. All right. Well, don't be a stranger. Appreciate you taking time this evening, and we'll stay in touch.
Thanks, Dwayne. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, Tom. Talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye. All righty. Well, Blackmouth season kicking off, man. Getting people back on the salt. That's exciting because that'll transition right into some salt opportunities as we get into springtime here. We can look forward to some more bottom fish openers, and then lingcod, and then we roll right into halibut, and it just on and on and on. So
some of the best days I had, we're saying were outside the bubble,
right,
Buoy 10,
right,
when the inside was closed, and outside it was just Coho fest. I mean, every 5 seconds a rod's going off, and loved it. Wish I could continue doing it, but I just, I struggle. I guess I probably good for an hour.
Yeah.
If I put the patch on, I could go out for an hour if it got bad.
Even with the patch, huh?
Even with the patch.
Me and the beard get a little tossed on the old stomach at times, but you put the patch on and it's manageable. Even some pretty rough stuff.
As I've gotten older, it's changed because I used to be able to go out there and no problem. As I'm older every year, so now motion sickness is an issue.
Emotional sickness.
Morning
sickness.
There is no patch for my emotional
There is no patch for morning sickness for Dave. Okay, we are going to jump out for a quick break. Hey, when we come back, stick around for this one. We're going to have Ron Garner, president at PSA, Puget Sound Anglers. Ron had was very involved in the process that took the last couple of years of his life in dealing with the removal of the HSRG, the Hatchery Review, the Hatchery Scientific Review Group. This is a huge bit of news, folks. If you're not familiar with what this all means and what it really does for recreational opportunity, recreational opportunity is a side note. It's all about the orcas. It's all about hatcheries, the ability to produce more fish. Something we've been lacking here in Washington State for a number of years. We're going to get back on track. This is a huge step in the right direction. So if you want to understand what's going on, what went into this, and how we got resolved here, and some of the players involved, Ron Garner was at the forefront of this, did an amazing job, president of PSA, and finally getting him on the show. So don't go anywhere, stick through the break. We'll be back right here with Ron Garner on Fish on Northwest.
Coho, an outdoor emporium, is the largest local outfitter in the Northwest since 1975, providing thousands of people affordable outdoor gear. This summer, make your next outdoor adventure more affordable by shopping at our warehouse-style pricing. We are a local Scotty dealer, offering sales, service, and repair. Located in Fife and Seattle, come visit us today. The outdoors await you.
It's easier than ever to browse homes and connect with an agent on the go with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate's mobile app. With the app, your home search is synced across all of your devices, so you can pick up your home search anytime, anywhere. Take full advantage of an enriched, mobile-optimized map search experience. Use location services to quickly find homes near you that match your search criteria. Draw your own map boundaries to find homes in a specific area, and apply layers to view school districts, neighborhoods, zip codes, and more. The app's user-friendly design makes it easier than ever to find a home you'll love. Narrow down your search results, save your search criteria, and save your favorite homes. You can browse your saved homes in a list view that puts photos and key details like price and square footage right at your fingertips. Or check out your saved homes displayed on the map.
Yep, for sure. Oh yeah, big fish. Yeah, buddy. Nice fish. Oh, beauty. Gorgeous fish.
Bobby's on the board.
We got a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
No, geez, come on.
nice fish. Nice fish.
Hey, welcome back in studio to Winning on Dave Calhoun for your viewing pleasure, or not. Yeah. Hey, as promised at the break, first time finally landing him on the show with our schedules not being polar opposites, and finally able to dial this in. Ron Garner, President PSA, and glad to have him on the show tonight. Ron, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Am I coming in okay?
Yeah, you sound great. Yep, no problems there. And if there are, we got to hang up and call you back, we'll do so. Anyway, moving on through this. So the topic of the evening, it's been on the minds of many as of late, and congratulations and thank you, I guess, an extended thank you for the work done, all the efforts that went in, and how much, as I kind of mentioned to Dave here a little bit ago, how much of this of your life it consumed for the last couple of years. But HSRG, Hatchery Scientific Review Group, and the fact that we got that hurdle, if it is to be described as anything, out of the way, so we can move forward with some of this hatchery production heading in the right direction. Let's take a little stab here at helping to educate folks who are unaware of anything to do with HSRG and what it really was, why it was established, what it was, and why it's a good thing that it's gone.
Okay, starting out, it was believed to be the answer of how to recover wild fish. There was a lot of thought put into it, and what was supposed to happen was we were supposed to be basically, and let me go back and step back. They were supposed to be a group as an advisory group. They were not supposed to be a group that takes over. What they did is they figured that if they could cut back the hatchery fish, and what was supposed to happen was they were supposed to pump up cut back the hatchery fish and to get the wild fish back, but yet at the same time put in more hatchery fish to be caught in the terminal area. So if you had the real meaning was supposed to be more fish brought in, but what happened is they didn't fund it and it didn't happen. So we had less hatchery fish. And so when you take that forward, it was nothing more than an opinion or an experiment. And there was never any foundational paper, no scientific paper to be checked. No modeling was ever present. So it was never thoroughly vetted, and along the way, no checks and balances. But what we have seen is the opposite. We have far less wild fish now, and we have continued to cut hatchery production through ESA, through HSRG, and also through funding cuts. So a good buddy of mine, Butch Smith, and I have been working on trying to rebuild our fisheries for everybody for quite a number of years. And it started with him and Dale Beasley, the Coastal Coalition Fisheries, and Butch Smith of Ilocro Charters, going to Washington, D.C., and educating Washington, D.C. The reason they're paying disaster relief funds all the time is because of lack of fish.
Yeah.
Communities are starving. So this kind of got the ball rolling on it to start with. And then we kept on with trying to educate people on this Hatchery Science Review Group findings. And in 2016, when we had North of Falcon blow up, I went to the tribes. I started working with the tribes and talking to them personally. And we actually started understanding that we both have more in common than not. And, Alaska and BC were taking our fish, seals, everything. And we talked about the right things. And this is where we need to be working on.
Right.
So what's happened is, going back to the HSRG, there was a presentation at the WDFW Commission level. And what the presentation showed was HSRG would rebuild our wild stocks. It would take 300 to 500 years. And nobody's got 300 to 500 years.
I don't have that kind of time.
I think if anybody would have known that back in the time, it would have never gotten anywhere.
We got some people that don't have 3 to 5 years, so
Don't look over there.
I'm looking over at Dave, but anyway.
Yeah,
good point.
Yeah, so I'm an Orca task force member,
Right.
and I got on there because I was really afraid that fishing, we were going to get the bullseye put on our back. I knew we were going to do that. Butch and I both knew that, and so we got on the Orca task force, and we were able to not only educate them that fishing wasn't the problem, that the orcas were dying, but also we needed more hatchery production. So working with that, we were able to, in the end, get 26.7 million more salmon made through the Orca. And NOAA told us when we were working with NOAA, what do we do? And they said, well, we can cover using the Orca. But we had the tribes help us a lot on this. They were instrumental in very much all of this.
Yeah.
We asked for more eggs at one of the commission meetings. We asked for this to be suspended so we can make more eggs for the Orca and us, so we could have those and start making more fish before we had gotten into this very deep. So this whole thing's been kind of an overall plan to get our fish back, to get our hatchery production back up. I mean, we have cut our hatchery production in Washington State since between 1992 and 2016, 163 million fish a year.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
And that's Coho and Chinook. And if you take that into an average, just a 1% average return, in our waters, we would have 1,630,000 more fish out there to catch.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's unbelievable.
Can you throw that chart up on there that I had with the orcas and the hatchery production?
Dave's got the chart. We'll throw that up as we're talking about that now for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So going forward, though, with this, if we don't start getting our hatchery production back, we have way too many people. Mm-hmm. Washington's just growing leaps and bounds, but we don't have the habitat to support those big fish anymore.
Right.
Big runs. So if you look here, you can see that the orcas is the reddish brown line, and you can see the hatchery production on the green line. So you can see how they follow in a downward path.
Right.
And it's sad that we had to get to the point of dying orcas to prove our point, but that's about what it took.
Let me ask you this. So recognizing the plight of the orca and to their demise. So this becomes forefront. Ansley, gets the task force up and going. You guys from all different walks of Washington State and the Northwest, and a lot of players involved in that. You come up with the data, the science, and all these things to support, and you come out with a number. And you can remind us what that number is of walking away from that, the last meeting you guys had or whenever that decision was laid down. The number of fish that need to be produced or would be authorized to be produced, and the increase in Chinook and or Coho numbers. And you land at that number in the millions, 20 million or 22, whatever that number is, and you can remind me. Would we be successful in having that amount of hatchery increase if we still had HSRG as a roadblock to make it happen?
I don't believe you would. What we pushed for was what Commissioner Don McIsaac asked for was 50 million fish. He said, we've seen the opposite, of cutting fisheries for 10 years. Let's go back and do the opposite. And he wanted 30 million Puget Sound, 20 million Columbia River.
Right.
But everything we did, it kind of helped line up to open the doors and help us get more production, because these fish are not coming back and they need all the help they can get. And honestly, all of us are tired of being on the bank.
Yeah.
So, this was a tough season not having much fishing, but we're going into north of Falcon now. And I just want to say that this is really, really a big thing. And we still got to get it through the SEPA review process and then on to the co-management policy with the tribes. And so the tribes, this will end up going more into a river by river, is how this is going to lay out, is how much hatchery production can be made or can't be made. But it's going to be a breakdown river by river, and this is how it'll end up in the end.
We also have some pinfish out in certain areas of Puget Sound, if I'm not mistaken. I know the Area 11 has some pen practices happening, and those fish, unlike, blackmouth, they will be released. Those are outbounding migrant Chinook smolt, and they'll come back. And, from what I've in discussions with others is those fish will come back. They don't really have a destination for spawning, but if they do make it to a river basin and decide to navigate a river, the genetics that they're pulled from are within the restrictions of NOAA and all the permitting, that they aren't going to do any harm by straying into either the Puyallup or the Green River or anything like that, because it's all, basically that Green River strain of fish. So numbers being boosted all over, and as you said, river by river. And the nice thing is the support for that increase, albeit several million for hatchery modifications, if I'm not mistaken, and of course the money it takes to actually raise and rear these extra fish. Didn't all of that come out of the Orca Task Force as well?
Yeah, I think the number was $57 million on repairing the hatchery back then. So, there was a lot to all of this, and we had some really good influential people, especially a lot of the tribal members were a lot of help. And we had, Phil Anderson, that was a previous director and is a Pacific Fisheries Management Council, the Pacific Treaty Commissioner. He brings a lot to the table. And then we had quite a few key tribal people on there that are solely fisheries people, and working together and getting numbers together, and it was really good. I thought when there was 52 people, we would never get anywhere, but we actually did. We didn't get where I wanted to go with the seals yet, but that's an issue. We're raising hatchery production, and NOAA allowed it, and we're working on what's the next step that we're going to have to figure out. We just can't let it go. The seals go unchecked, especially in these terminal areas that are really crashing, like the Stillaguamish.
Yeah, exactly. So, still a lot of work to be done, but, the good news is HSRG is no longer going to have its hooks into the process. We have an increase in hatchery production. We have monies to support that. The orcas are going to be fed. The byproduct, really, this is directed mostly due to the Orca Task Force and removal of that HSRG, but, the byproduct is we do have ample opportunity increases for recreational opportunity in various parts of Puget Sound and other, Columbia River and whatnot. So, everybody wins, and I think you proved the point. The more we can come to the table and work together, and you mentioned a host of players, also to include at the level of NOAA, but the tribes being very intimately involved and coming to the table, all of you guys working cohesively. And of course, the commission had to have buy-off on this as well, and if I'm not mistaken, 8 or 9 of the commissioners all voted in favor of the removal of HSRG, and that's a huge step in the right direction, and kudos to the commission for getting on board and also making this happen. So
yeah, it's been quite a lot of going back and forth and educating each other, but it's been 2.5 years is what it's been. Yeah. And it's been a lot longer than that, but that's just the keeping our head down and fighting and going, and just not letting it come back is what it's been. And there's quite a few times it looked like it was going the other way, and several times I thought we were done. We weren't going to get there, and we got it back on track. But it's been a wild roller coaster ride to get across the finish line. Right.
What's next? Yeah, you mentioned it. Predation. Pitipit control, Puget Sound, Sellers Sea, bird predation. What's kind of on the radar?
The newest thing on the radar that we've been setting up is we made a partnership with WDFW and the Stillaguamish tribe to see what we can do about hazing, to start with hazing and monitoring the stilly to keep the seals out. Okay. There's a lot of times there's 50 seals sitting down at the mouth of the Stillaguamish when everybody lost fisheries over 4 fish. That's a pretty tough thing, and the seals can't go unchecked. So we were working with Nate Pamplin of WDFW and said, we got to do this together. We have to form a partnership, and we got to go in there. We got to do it this year. We can't wait for studies. And he agreed to it. So we are moving forward with that.
Perfect.
And we need to make sure that when the smolts come out, that we have hazing in place. We're going to have monitoring. We're having our first all-together meeting here next week. But we agreed to a partnership to do it. And so we got to monitor before you can do anything else. And we got to find out exactly everything that's going on. But we also need to keep those seals out of the river. Yeah. 50 of them are there. They're eating a lot of fish a day.
Yeah. Well, hey, big thank you once again. Fantastic work. Appreciate all the effort you put in. I know it's your heart and passion, and you're never going to stop. You're going to keep fighting the good fight for all of us to benefit from. So we thank you for that, and thanks for jumping on the show. Finally, it's great to have you on. Well, I know we always have great conversation. It's nice to bring it to the people and let them truly hear what's going on. So just a big thank you, Ron, and I appreciate it.
Well, I really appreciate it. I think the big thing is this is all for our kids and our grandkids. That's really important that they got. I've seen some fantastic fisheries. I've caught a lot of really big fish of all different areas. I want to get that back.
Yeah. I think we all do.
I want our kids and grandkids to be able to do that.
I agree. All right. Well, don't be a stranger, mister. We'll stay in touch on top of this stuff and make sure we bring the message to the folks that tune in for us. And once again, thank you, and we'll be in touch. Have a great evening.
All right, you too. Thank you, Dwayne.
All right, thanks, Ron. So, yeah, lots of good stuff going on, Dave. I mean, last week we had Buzz Ramsey on talking about probable dam removal, or it's in the works, with Congressman Smith's proposal, and kind of people are starting to wrap their head around that. We do have some movement in the efforts of predation control, i.e. pinnipeds in a certain amount that can be removed annually. Bird predation is now becoming to the forefront. And we have a recognized number of birds that can be removed from that Columbia River basin. And so, and now here we are relative to Puget Sound and South Resident orcas, increase in hatchery production, removing the roadblocks that prevent hatcheries from getting back up to, how many millions of fish are we down the last 15 years?
It's amazing with all the things that are playing against them that we still get fish back.
We still get to fish once in a
too,
while, right?
It's just amazing.
I agree. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, so it's not all doom and gloom, and as we speak, the next few days and several weeks into months, we have these season-setting processes taken off, and that'll be part of our content here over the next several months, not to inundate you folks with it, but to bring it out when it's relevant. Each week or every other week, or how things kind of move along, and the numbers start weighing out, and we get opportunities on certain fisheries. We'll bring that stuff to you because it's important for you to understand how those fisheries get established and what we get access to. Okay, running a little late as we always do. It wouldn't be Fish on Northwest if we didn't. So jump out for a quick break. Final guest on this evening, our buddy Kyle Buschelman, Willamette Valley Outfitters, is our guide service. Willamette Valley Guide Service has been steelhead fishing, but also mixing it in out there on the coast when the weather is conducive, getting out on the bottom fish out of Depot Bay and the Ling cod already, and and some crabbing going on. So, we're talking kind of jumping back and forth, freshwater, saltwater, some opportunities here, but we're staying in the saltwater tonight. We're going to talk to Kyle Buschelman when we come back after this break right here, Fish on Northwest.
A Northwest favorite for almost 40 years, Arima boats are manufactured with pride right here in Bremerton, Washington. Arima Boats offers all of our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. With literally thousands of Arima boats on the water throughout the Pacific Northwest, Arima boats are a proven hull design that offers incredible fuel economy and all of the amenities that a serious angler is looking for. All Arima boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why we back our boats with a lifetime warranty. All of our Arima boats are designed to maximize deck space while also providing ample seating. Contact us today at Arima Boats for all your boating needs and let us help you get out on the water.
Welcome back in studio. Thanks for sticking with us through the break. Lots of good compliments here. People enjoying the educational components, Dave, that we try to throw out here week after week and talk about things going on behind the scenes. It's important for you guys to know that. So, hey, no stranger to the studio or the phone line, and or if we go down and jump in his boat and create some content that we bring to you folks. Kyle Buschelman, longtime friend and buddy, Willamette Valley Guide Service out of Oregon down there. You actually, not a bad day on the Steelhead waters before we start talking coastal saltwater fisheries, huh, buddy?
Yeah, it's about time, too. It's been a really grind this year, but today, we've had a lot of rain. Today was my first day back after the high water, and we got into some fish, some really nice ones. We put a really big hen in the broodstock tank.
Oh, nice.
Which was good. So because we were a little bit behind on hens collection. We had a lot of males in there. So
yeah,
we stay in touch daily with the biologist, and we're doing really good. I mean, we're scraping it together, and we have a lot of people helping out with that program. But we put in, this month I put in 3 or 4 anyway.
Yeah.
Around the day, so that was nice.
Do you know what the numbers are at, or how many more bucks or hens they actually need for the year?
I don't know right now. Hey, I checked, but we were doing pretty good the last couple of days. We dropped in a lot of fish.
Yeah.
But we're gonna keep adding them. We're gonna put these things all the way in until May. I think through May is what we do. I think we talked about that on the show before.
Yeah, we did.
But
well,
yeah,
I know that the broodstock programs on the Oregon coast are killing it.
Oh,
they're doing so good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And why more rivers aren't doing it, it blows my mind. I mean, this is my neck of the woods, and I'm down there all the time, and I'm really trying to get those fish.
Kalama would be a great broodstock river.
Absolutely. Get rid of that dumb trap. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All the rivers are a good thing for it because it gives opportunity, and so we're happy. The grade of fish this year is nice too. So we caught a really nice wild fish upriver at first light. But we let it go because I didn't want to keep it in the box that long. You know? So it's not all about just every fish we catch. We have to look at, where we're at on the river so we don't kill that fish. We want to take care of that fish. And I think I sent you an email.
Yeah.
I try to keep on the loop about some of the ones that we've recorded that came last year for the broodstock and returned already this year. I mean, fish that were used for the broodstock program spawned at the hatchery and released back in the river, returned and were collected at the trap this year. So
that's awesome.
Impressive.
That is awesome.
It is impressive. So
right.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, sorry, I was interrupted here. We got a great message from a spiritual leader that. Some type of helper, brothers and sisters, and what's up on me. Anyway, I'm gonna read this at the break and spam. Yes, Clayton, spam. Really? Yes, we've been spammed on the old text line here during the show. This is comedy, folks. I love it. Anyway, I'm not letting you read this because you'll read everything out. You're Ron Burgundy the heck out of this thing.
I'm not gonna do anything.
Right. Anyway, let's start talking saltwater fisheries, buddy. So out there on the coast, Depot Bay, you've gotten out on the water when the weather's been conducive to do so, and hey man, you actually found some nice rockfish, found some decent ling cod, got the crab pots in. Let's talk a little bit about that program if folks want to jump on board and spend a day on the saltwater. What are they looking? What can they look forward to?
Well, the cool thing about Depot Bay is that it's the prettiest port to go out of. First off, you go through the rock wall, and there's not a big. You don't have to travel a long ways. You out there, really, you're fishing immediately right out in front there. There's a reef, and I mean, within 5 minutes you can be fishing. I fish anywhere from there all the way through Lincoln City up to the deadline, which is near Cape Lookout, and Cascade Head is there's a protected marine zone up there just north of Lincoln City, so we can't go past that, and then it starts again just past the Nestucca River all the way through PC. You can fish, but we have a great reef off Lincoln City. We're not very far out, which is nice, so you can see the beach. We're not it's a quick travel, so, and there's a lot of fish. I mean, in this time of year when we can get out, that's the big thing is weather. This year's been tough, but we do get days, and the lingcod are big because they're spawning. They're coming in shore, so we're catching some bigger ones. We like to let the big females go, the big spawners. There's no reason to keep them, but we still like to fight big fish. So, and then all the rockfish that are just everything you want. We have a 6 fish limit on the rock bass and stuff like that, and we get 2 lingcod on top of that.
Well, I'll tell you, of all the bays I've gotten sick at, Depot Bay was the prettiest. And I'll tell you what.
You get sick in Depot Bay?
I did the one time.
Little roller action?
Yeah, that was the last time. But I'll tell you what, that bottom fishery and then the crabbing has been just outstanding in Oregon, period.
Right.
So being able to do a combo trip like that where you're going to bottom fish, put the crab pots out in the morning, swing by on your way back in with your limits, and I mean, it's such a fun trip, and if you don't have to go that far, you might be able to swing.
You might be able to make it.
See the bank.
Yeah. So we toss our crab pots, and then we get on the fishing grounds. Kyle, if guys are out there doing it on their own in their own boat, looking at their electronics and stuff, what depth of water are we targeting for those lingcod and rockfish? What type of structure are we looking for? Kind of dial them in on exactly kind of how to set them up and what they're looking for fishing in that current.
Kind of 110 foot is where I've been focusing at too, but on the reef it can go from 110 to 60 feet to 40 to 90 in a 100-yard area, and it's important that people have good electronics. This is where it really comes in, and it took me a good year last year with my system to map it over. I literally had to drive over with my Garmin and record the different features of it. I colored them in, this true quick draw contours is what it is if you have a Garmin, and map it. Kind of old school. I know some of the other models have it already, but to go over there and map it, you can then find where these fish are. It's kind of a hunt, which is fun. And but that's about it. Find the reef and start hitting bottom. Anything with a lot of pinnacles seem to have the big lings on them. So.
Yeah. So what are you dropping down? You hitting them with bait? You using artificials with some scent? What's kind of the go-to?
Kind of both. In the morning, I'll start right away. We'll mooch herring on the very bottom. We'll tap them on the bottom to get those big lings. And then after that, we'll jig for them too. I like the P-line jigs. They're big plastics, and we're using the Pautzke's fire gel on them. That stuff's been money, honestly. Rubbing it on, it lasts a long time. And there's a lot of different stuff. And I mean, it works. I mean, the first day we went 2 weeks ago fishing was our last time out, and we fished 2 days. The first day we just jigged for them, and we caught a lot of fish. The next day I went out with bait, and we caught the big fish. It was kind of the big. We put out big herring, and we got some big lings, some close to 20 pounds anyway. Yeah,
nice. Any particular on those soft plastics or artificials? 1 ounce head, any particular color, split tail, single tail, wiggle tail, grub? Does it matter?
All of the above. Yeah. When we're jigging on the bottom, I like to use 4 ounces or more.
Yeah.
When we're jigging for that, but after we get those and we're targeting the bass, I'll go 2 ounces and 3 ounces and 1 ounces, depending on how much current we have.
Okay.
And if those fish are suspended or not. See, looking at your system, those rock bass, like the black rock bass, they'll be suspended in schools sometimes, or they'll be on the bottom, and that kind of dictates how much you have to use.
Sure.
So, and I'm a big fan of line counters because those jigs get expensive after a while. If you're using the, so I'll be like, drop it to 80, no further,
Well, the jigs or even the lead heads that you put the soft plastics on, right? The money's in that lead. Holy smokes, they don't give that stuff away. So, all right, buddy, sounds good. Always great info. You got some once the ocean lays down a little bit for you, you're able to get back out on the saltwater here, and the steelhead fishing kind of gets hit and miss. You got dates available? People going to sign up, or where can they go?
Right now with bottom fishing, people need to just contact me through the website or my phone number 541-517-7536 or Facebook, my business page on Facebook, and get on a call list for the ocean right for the early season because it's weather dependent. We're looking out. We're using the apps to see what days we can go, and if they're on a call list, we can make it happen. And then once we start getting into April, May, it's more stable, and we can do more bookings for that, without and book out a little easier. And then we still have some steelhead dates in March too. So
yeah, fantastic. All right, buddy. Always a pleasure. Thanks for taking the time. And I'm going to open up the calendar and figure out either we're going to come down and do a combo trip. We'll do steelhead one day and saltwater the next. But we got to get some content out of you before the spring dries up.
For sure, man. I appreciate it. We had fun last time. We'll do it again, and thank you.
Absolutely, buddy. All right. Have a good night. Talk to you soon.
Good call.
Yep. See you, Dave.
All right, man. Yes, Cal Buschelman, always a wealth of
blast to fish with.
Oh, we always have a good time.
Yeah,
absolutely have a good time, and they got some dandy steelhead today too. Boy, it was a good day. As did you?
I know somebody who did.
Yes,
it wasn't me, but I'll tell you what.
You were there.
The next best thing is when the guy in your boat gets one,
and
you're shaking.
Yeah,
that's that fish. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Matter of fact, we'll get to that here in a few minutes. Going to jump out for a quick break. We're going to come back and a number of topics to cover with my co-partner this evening and from the week before. Yeah, been kind of hanging out here a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, checks in the mail.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I'll hold my breath.
You too, David. Jump out for a quick break. We come back. We got a number of topics we're going to tackle right here with Dave Calhoun. Don't go anywhere. Be back right here at Fish on Northwest. Allied boats are built by West Coast fishermen for West Coast fishermen. Deep V 21-degree dead rise at the transom guarantees a smooth ride no matter the conditions. Allied offers all of our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. Allied boats range from 19 to 32 foot in length, so no matter what type of heavy gauge boat you are looking for, we have it for you. All of our Corsair 21 foot and larger designs come standard with reverse chine that is welded inside and out with no extrusions below the waterline, so that you will never have to worry about corrosion problems down the road. Get out on the water today in a boat that you can trust and enjoy with Allied Boats. Contact us at Allied Boats today to learn much more about our incredible fishing machines.
New days, new beginnings, new friends, new loves, new dreams, new goals, new scenery, new job. No matter what the next chapter holds, Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate will be there to help you find the new that's right for your lifestyle at any stage of your life. Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Expect better.
Hey, welcome back in studio, Dwayne England, Dave Calhoun, and actually, as we were talking to the break, Justin Bergen, the tackle box just put on here is loaded with Springer gear. We'll be hanging with Dave Calhoun, gentleman to my right, at Northwest Rods in Kalama from 10 to 5. Check it out on Facebook. And the Tackle Box Pacific Northwest online at the www.tacklebox.fishing.com. So,
I'm trying to be open on Saturday.
Somebody accused him of spam. Yes, that is Justin Bergen spam. No, it is him. So,
okay.
Let's talk about that. You got something coming up down there at your shop again.
Yep, I'm trying to stay open as much as I can. My Tuesday, Thursdays is always good, but Saturdays have been really good for guys that work during the week and can't get out. So on the weekends, Saturdays, I'm not fishing with everybody anymore.
Right.
It's nice to be able to sit in the shop and work. So we're having a sale on Saturday. Justin's coming down with the tackle box. He'll be set up in the parking lot. We are working on a Kalama sportsman show.
Yeah.
This is the concept.
Right.
So at my lot, we've got the property, I've got the people, all the, our friends, our mutual friends that may or may not be doing the other shows, depending on what goes on.
Sure.
But an outdoor event people can come set up at.
Yeah.
We're right there off I-5.
Right.
And people can wear masks and people can come and do whatever they want and have a good sale. So that's going to be one of those weather permitting things. And we won't know for probably a week in advance. But we're aiming for that late March, early April while there's still springers.
Yeah.
And we can do that sportsman show for the people that want to attend.
And we may just have to come down there and set up a table and sell our Fish Out Northwest swag, if you will. So got a trailer in tow and we can make that happen. So more information on that to come. But yeah, we'll put something together and make it happen. That's going to be great.
Something else while we're in the topic. So rods and reels in need.
Yeah, Larry
Let's
Stamp,
talk about Larry
friend
Stamp.
of ours.
Okay.
He's actually been right there in that chair.
So he comes by every week to pick up rods. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's donated rods.
These are rods that people trade in on the purchase of a new rod.
Yeah, either that or they just bring them because they're good people and want to do that.
All right.
So if you want to buy a Northwest rod, grab your old rods and bring them in. I'm willing to give you trade-in credit on those towards rods.
Yeah.
So we were at 57 last Saturday. 57 rods and reels since January 1st.
Oh.
I have another 20 piled up there ready for them to go, and these are good, ready to fish. If they're broken, I'll fix them. If they need a guide repaired, a tip top, something done,
then they get donated to Larry, and then he puts them into his program, distributes them out to those in need.
Yes.
A lot of kids receive benefits of free fishing rods and reels and military guys and
and just families that maybe low income and don't have the money.
Persons in need.
I need them to be fishing. This is the future.
Right.
So I need them to fish because if they don't fish, their kids won't fish.
Correct.
So it's a great program. So people can bring them in. My shop is the drop-off point.
Right.
So they can bring them in, trade them in, drop them off, whatever. It's a great program.
Sure.
So Larry's doing that, and my goal is to try and hit 300 rod and reels, which I will just kill that number at the rate we're going.
Oh,
super
hands
excited.
down, yeah. And kudos to Larry. He's got a great program established. We've had him here on the show. He's doing great work. It's all about community outreach, and it's good stuff. So appreciate you helping out with that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
A couple things before we get moving along here, talking about some Columbia River springer fishing. I want to mention, if you are traveling to the east side, as we will mention from time to time, do yourself a favor, dial up and stay at the Skydeck Motel over there out of Electric City. Nikki and the gang there do a great job taking care of you. Mention that you heard it here on Fish Out Northwest. You're going to receive monies off on your room per night, per stay. And as we roll into the busier season, they might even hopefully be able to roll those prices back to off-season prices. So you may save anywhere from 10 to upwards of $30 a night on your room, depending on time of year, which is a great deal. You go over there for a couple of days and save anywhere from 20 to $60 on a couple nights stay over there at Skydeck. You're going to do yourself a favor, and it is in a location that is conducive to getting to a lot of your fisheries. It's right there on the shores of Banks Lake. It's 20 minutes from the Rufus Woods boat ramp, and it's 20 minutes from at least one of the more popular ramps there over on Roosevelt. So great place to stay, right there in town, 5 minutes from the Safeway. Everything's right there, and it's a great place, and they do a nice job. So Skydeck Motel, tell them Fish Out Northwest sent you. You're going to save some money. Also, we'll have a show next week, as I had mentioned, the 4th. I'm going to have Bill Herzog, Bill Monroe Jr. in studio joining me. And we got a lot of content to cover, getting really excited, looking forward to that show. It's going to be a good one, so don't miss that. The following Saturday, which will be March 6th. Now, I was supposed to be over on the east side, or Sherry the Beard and I were supposed to be over on the east side fishing with Troy Black on Roosevelt, but we have a community meeting here the evening of the 5th, and a little bit of information coming on that too as it weighs in here for fishing. So we got to be home for this community meeting, which doesn't make it very successful for us to be there on the 6th fishing with Troy. So going to be home on Saturday the 6th, so why not? Joining up with Jason Bumble of Washington State Fishing Group, and we're getting together for an evening with Dakota Portman providing music. Jason and I are going to be front and center. We're going to live stream to both Fish Out Northwest and Washington State Fishing, and we'll be live streaming this out. It's basically an evening of fish talk, whiskey, and music with Dakota Portman, it's just kind of kicking back, relaxing, answering a lot of questions, talking about fisheries and opportunities, things that are going on. Jason's going to have a lot of questions that in his followers, 50,000 strong over at Washington State Fishing, are gonna chime in and bring your questions, bring your comments. Dakota's a great kid, man. That kid's going places. He's got some great new music coming out. Just got back from Nashville, down there working with the guys, cutting a new album. Can't wait to hear his new music. Part of his crew down there working is now wearing FHN swag, so that's pretty cool. We've landed in Nashville with some big players. It's kind of exciting. Anyway, Saturday the 6th, and I will remind you next Thursday the 4th. Saturday the 6th, I believe 6:30 start time, Washington State Fishing, Fish Hunt Northwest, Dakota Poorman, Fish Talk, Whiskey, and Music. It's going to be a great evening.
Okay, so let's talk Steelhead. We still have a report that I've been kind of teasing.
Yeah, we're there, man. It's on my list. Let's talk a little Steelhead. You were on the water today.
Yes. So if you can put that picture up. So the only thing better than putting this fish myself was at least having this in the boat today. And, those 20-pound steelhead.
See the girth on that tail?
It is ridiculous. I mean, wide as unbelievable. And when you zoom in on this fish, I mean, just flawless, just beautiful colors on them. And this new technique called a pink worm.
What?
I don't know if you've tried it.
Now, was that under a bobber? Was it drift fish? Was it bobber dog?
We don't call them bobbers. We call them floats.
No, we don't.
Bobbers are for children.
Bobbers are for dogging. Floats are for fishing.
Yeah.
What?
So a pink worm under the float couldn't be more basic.
Yep.
And just a monster. 30 minutes chasing this fish in and out of current, trying to turn him.
Well, look at that buck, man. That is a creature.
So that was, my buddy Mark Irvig, our friend, out on the water, going to some of the smaller rivers that we never can talk about.
We don't talk about.
And the only fish we touched, and that's more than enough to make an amazing day on the water.
That fish right there is a prime candidate for brood stocking.
Absolutely.
I mean, look at the genetics of that fish. That is something to behold. That's a 20, 22-pound fish. See the girth on that tail? I mean, that is what we dream of. That is the type of steelhead everybody would like to get their hand around and just shake its tail for a second and let it go back and do its thing. But that is a healthy system. That is a healthy fish, and that is what we need to see more of. And we can get that by genetically utilizing its services for a season in a broodstock program. So that's a great day. Even if it's one fish to the boat, if that's your fish, that's a great day.
I was shaking.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we got
everybody gets excited about that fish.
We got out of the boat and tried to get somewhere and then got back in the boat and had to move down. Because we were on a river, you can fish from a boat. It's a whole new concept.
Whoa. So you're down in Oregon.
Sure.
Yeah,
okay,
whatever. Perfect.
An awesome day. And, we're getting to that point where we're crossing over from steelhead to springers for some people.
Right.
Well, the years past when I would go springer fish in February and those days where we didn't touch a fish for 10 trips, I don't do that anymore.
Right.
I'm going to really just focus on these winter steelhead until the numbers justify going for spring. Now, that might be the last day of the season. I mean, really, it's all dependent upon reports. But I don't want the day when 2 fish were caught.
No.
I want the day when 50 fish were caught.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'll save up my days and I'll winter steelhead as long as I can to do that.
Yep.
But springers are exciting. I'm hoping that lower river is a good opportunity at least to get out and target these fish. And then when that closes, we'll just kind of punt.
Hold that thought. We're going to jump out for a quick break. We come back, we're going to close out the show, but we're going to talk about Lower Columbia Opportunity, Willamette, crossover area and what that really means to the Springer Fisher person. I like
so
that.
Official. Yeah. So good.
And also we got a few other things to talk about. Possible smelt opener for all you smelt dippers. Something potentially coming if you want to get your dip on. And a few other things that we will touch on before we get out of here. So don't go anywhere. Quick short break. We'll jump out. We'll be back right here in studio, Fish Hunt Northwest. Defiance boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why we back our boats with a lifetime warranty. All of our Defiance boats come standard with large fish boxes that are fully insulated so that you can ice your fish properly all day. Defiance boats feature a 21 to 22 degree dead rise at the transom and a large reverse chine for incredible handling and stability offshore.
Defiance boats are foam, flotation filled, and unsinkable for the ultimate in safety while fishing offshore. Defiance boats feature fuel-efficient hull designs with large fuel tank capacity so that you can have maximum fuel range for making long offshore runs completely safe and affordable. All Defiance boats come standard with self-bailing decks for improved safety while at sea. Defiance Boat offers all our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. Defiance boats for all your boating needs, and let us help you get out on the water.
Today, the need for quality private security services is at an all-time high. Contract Security Service provides day-to-day peace of mind as they protect people and property. Phoenix Protective Corporation strives for excellence. Above all, Phoenix security officers are managed by leaders trained to inspire and encourage greatness. Here at Phoenix, we provide service for multiple state and federal contracts, with service ranging from uniform, patrol, alarm monitoring, canine detection, executive protection, as well as investigative work. We here at Phoenix are looking for highly motivated individuals to apply. If you're a vet, retired or active, and would like to work with us, please apply.
All right, welcome back as we wind this baby down and get on out of here. So, Springer Opportunity Lower Columbia, which a lot of folks have their sight set on, and again, we'll get into it a little more next week with Bill Monroe Jr. But man, you know, to get back on that stretch of water, boat out there in front of the Kalama, that Kalama Lewis, and of course across the way over there, lower section out in front of that Willamette, where a good portion of those fish are going to steer off to. What are your thoughts there? Definitely worth putting in a little time?
Well, absolutely. I mean, what's your alternative? Right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, while you've got it, you do it. Mm-hmm. The issue then becomes when they close it, which we talk about this every year, then we're limited to where we can go.
Sure.
So the Oregon guys go up in the Willamette, the Washington guys buy the Oregon tags.
Go up in the Willamette.
As long as it's not illegal, right?
Yeah.
And so the Willamette gets overpressure. Almost all of the early fish, we're talking the ones that by the April 4th closure, most of those fish are Willamette fish. So giving us that lower fishery is more productive than if they were to say the Willamette and above to Bonneville. That's going to be a dead zone with most of those fish curving into the Willamette.
Sure.
I don't know what the exact number is. I don't know if they know. But I would say probably 75% of the fish go up through the Multnomah Channel, and then the other 25 may go up
past and come back,
up Davis Bar, and that's why Davis Bar is so good.
Sure.
They kind of just get up there, they get that scent, and you can see when the Willamette's just pouring into the Columbia. It's usually a big dirt swath, and they're cutting in and going in there. So that's going to put all the people that are out on the Columbia, most of those in the Willamette, in the channel, and that fishery just goes off, and that's way more productive on those early fish. But then again, we don't know what's going on with the cowlets. We don't know what's going on with the Lewis. In years past, the Lewis, once they got their escapement, then they would open it up, whether it was 1,000 fish. So they go, oh, we got our 1,000, so now they open.
I think they actually opened it last year. It was closed, and then for latter part of a few weeks or something, they actually opened. I might be wrong on that, but I think what had happened,
And that's because they're trying to make sure those numbers are protected.
Sure.
And then what they do is if they aren't getting the numbers on the Cowlitz or the Lewis, they figure, well, we're going to take extra on the Kalama as long as we have that, and that will leave that fishery open. But there again, that's just going to get pressured, and we're limited on where those guys can go catch springers.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room on that river, and I tell you stack 50, 60 drift boats a day on that little Kalama. It's like winter run steelhead on the Wainuchi in the wintertime. It's just, you're and springer fishing's even more difficult in that regard, because those fish, once you get past the morning hours and they've seen how many baits come by, they're just not interested. You may get one once in a while, but it's a lot of effort for a little payout.
And of all the fish, springers make you the craziest.
Oh, they just drive you nuts.
They drive you nuts, and there's more people targeting them than any other fish. Yeah, they're delicious.
For good reason.
I know.
They taste a lot like that triploid you had tonight.
God, we had this dinner. We ate that fish tonight for dinner, and it was delicious.
Amazing, huh?
Very Springer-like, that oily belly.
You put it up there with Springers, I guarantee it.
Absolutely will. Yeah.
Matter of fact, it's a better quality. You know those those almost Thule-esque light springers that they've mixed in the last several years. That you kind of get, you know, I've had a day where I catch 2 springers. One of them is just dark red, gorgeous meat. The one out of the same hole, a couple casts later, pale, pasty, just not as flavorful, and hardly any oil coming off that meat. That triploid table fares that springer all day long.
When I peeled it off the skin, I mean, there's a very little gray area, that gray matter that you want to peel off.
Sure.
There was very little of that on that fish, which is like those upriver brights, the springers that we're targeting. And, you know, I think I've talked about it before, but the upriver brights and the springers that the Columbia River have, the reason they are so special is because of all that fat that they have trying to get those fish way past where you're catching.
Genetics, yeah.
But that's not
they
everywhere.
They got to survive.
That's not everywhere. A springer and a spring Chinook in the Columbia are 2 different things.
Correct.
And so I think people go, oh yeah, this springer is delicious. It is, but those Columbia River fish
It's a spring Chinook, not a springer.
That's right, springer. That's
not a springer.
One.
So, good point. Something else, we may have that. We may have, as mentioned, the possibility. I guess Monday they'll come out with that report or the meeting to see if we got a smelt dip opportunity on the Cowlitz coming up. You mentioned some of the tributaries that we'll be targeting for springers. You know, lots of opportunity coming up. Lots of seasons to be set. Lots of discussions to have. Before we get out here, Dave. Shing just brought in some of our new wares. This here is a heavy. Guys are asking for it online here. So. One of our new logos that Dom Melendez created for us, and we decided to unveil it this year. I believe this one's probably going on the boat this time, not the badge. But this is an alternative logo we got here, Fish Hunt Northwest. This is I love this logo. It's got the mallard, it's got the salmon, it's got the antlers and the rod and reel and the arrowhead. And then on the back, it has our verbiage logo, Fish Hunt Northwest. On the back, we got the flag on the sleeve. This is a heavyweight black camo, very popular. We got a lot of these in extra large and 2XL, I believe. Anyway, a lot of this stuff, these new patterns, the new wares, the new hats, different size and colors of shirts and all that. Ladies' wears, it's all on our, or soon to be on, if not, on our online store. www.fishhuntnw.com. Hit the merch button on the banner and go to the online store and start poking around, shopping around. Got a lot of stuff on there. Jingling jigs are on there. His 10 steelhead patterns. His 4 or 5 different patterns for Rufus Woods twitching jigs for these big trout. And of course, as we roll into the fall, you're going to want to get a hold of some of his amazing coho twitching jigs that he'll be kicking out here and stocking up for as we roll into the fall. Going to have lots of coho opportunity. Going to have lots of coho opportunity to talk about techniques and things about going after them. Pretty lucrative seasons from what I'm hearing. Some of our opportunity, even on that lower Columbia, we're going back and forth. We're going to end up with a 3-fish limit, a couple Chinook and a coho. I mean, it's looking pretty favorable in some of these fisheries. You got to be excited about some of this stuff. I know I am going into this year because we're going to have some salmon fisheries on the rebound that we get excited about. We're going to have some east side opportunities that we're going to continue to go do. We're going to get these planer boards out there and show you guys what that's all about and why it's a pretty fun way to fish. Anything you change up that doesn't make it just the same old routine, and you build things and get it out there and you're successful in catching fish, makes for a really rewarding day. So. Any final thoughts there, Dave, before we kick on out of here?
No, it just makes me laugh when I think of how we're always the optimist, that whatever season we're in and however bad it might be, look what's right around the corner.
Hey, man,
springers are coming.
That's the die-hard fisherman.
Don't cry, it's going to be all right.
Never give up. You just keep hoping for the best and settle for the worst. I mean, it's what we do.
Yeah.
So. Good things to look forward to. Appreciate everybody checking us out tonight. All you folks said hi. If you got some questions on here I didn't get to, I'll try to get back to them over this evening.
And come down to the shop Saturday.
Come down to the shop Saturday, 10 a.m.
Yep.
10 to 5.
5 p.m.
Northwest Rods.
Call ahead if you want, and you can set up a time if that's what you want to do.
Perfect.
We have stuff in stock, and I am building like crazy.
Attaboy.
Keep up. It's a crazy business right now.
Good stuff. I appreciate you helping me out for the last couple weeks.
You're welcome, pal.
Always a pleasure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, it's going to do it for us. Thanks for checking us out. Take our content, spread it around for us if you would. Jump over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Want to continue to see those numbers going up, and they are. Go to our webpage, www.fishhuntnw.com. Do a little shopping. Baby needs a new pair of shoes. and got Harper in gymnastics. That stuff gets expensive.
Yeah,
So you got it. All right, going to do it for us. Have a great week. Be relevant on our Facebook page. Let's post those pictures of successes and share with us what you're out doing and enjoying, and we'll continue to bring you content. All right, we'll be done for tonight. We'll see you next Thursday right here, 6 p.m. Have a great week.
Stay classy, Washington.
Oh, there you go.